Hey guys, it's Dr. Christie here. I wanted to jump on and talk to you guys a little bit about, first of all, a follow-up that we had on Saturday, but then also just, I guess, basically a follow-up on what we talk about all the time in our office, and that is the sympathetic nervous system and the fight or flight response. So if you haven't heard me talk about this before, you might not have watched any of my videos, but if you have heard me talk about this, I want to follow up a little bit because there's a lot of large components to this. And one of the things that the fight or flight response is designed to do is be an innate response, primal response to save our lives, right? If there's a threat, we need the fight or flight system, the sympathetic nervous system, to activate, to be able to turn on and handle whatever threat is there. So what happens though when that sympathetic nervous system has been triggered is something that people might not really understand. So when your system, your five senses, perceive something as a threat, and for us today in our culture, it could be anything, right? It could be scrolling through social media, listening to the news, dealing with a child, your husband. It could be a friend, a neighbor, driving in traffic. I mean, there's so many things that will turn us into that fight or flight response. And over 1,400 chemicals are released into the body when that turns on. So it is dumped in about a minute to 2 minutes. Those chemicals are being dumped into our body. And what they do is start to turn different systems on and other ones off. So when the sympathetic nervous system's turned on, the blood is shunted from those vital organs where they're resting, digesting, healing, and brought out to the extremities to be able to literally fight or flight. Our senses are turned way up. So ears, so you can hear; vision, so you can see if there's a threat coming along. Your senses, so feet and hands, the senses get heightened so you can move really quickly to be able to literally flee or fight for your life. Well, the other part is that the nice, calming, organized, creative part of your brain is shunted, and that information goes to the back of your brain, your hindbrain, where you can react or be impulsive. Now, does that sound like something that you or your child gets stuck in on a regular basis? If you start living there, those vital organs aren't getting the health that they want, the immune system starts to struggle, the gut starts to struggle, and our blood pressure is constantly up, and our body starts hanging on to those stress hormones. They don't want to digest fat. We need that for a reserve, just in case we don't get food later on. Carbohydrates are instantly turned into fat inside of our bodies, and we start to store it along the waistline. And we had a women's retreat, and I started talking about this fight or flight response and talking about neural pathways that start being built inside of our system. So something we say in our office is nerves that fire together, wire together. And what that means is that we start to make neural pathways. So like riding a bike or driving your car, taking a shower, things that we know automatically of what to do. That fight or flight response can do the same thing to you. You can start being really hardwired for fight or flight. And often what we don't do is override that signaling. We don't stop it. We don't try to get into the reverse, which is parasympathetic. We don't try to get into a good state, and those wirings are small. So we did a women's retreat, and we gave them really good examples of how to set you up for success in being able to turn off the sympathetic nervous system, turn on the parasympathetic nervous system, or at least be able to calm. We did that. We talked about journaling, but we also have some really great classes that we offer. June 20th is our next one, where we're going to be talking about a lot of these issues and how they build up, because often there's kids that are born into fight or flight, that are experiencing it from birth, and that thing doesn't turn off, or it doesn't turn off very often, and they're missing out on sleep, they're missing out on socialization, on digestion, they're missing out on milestones possibly. They might be delayed in some of their learning, their speech, their walking. And what we do is help parents through that process and help them have a successful life for their kids and for themselves. So you guys need to join us. Our next one, like I said, is June 20th. I know it's a ways away, but the best time to get under care, honestly, is at the end of the school year, during the summer, when your schedule isn't so crazy. You're able to pop in and pop out and not be battling school, baseball, school traffic, for God's sakes, and get you and your family under the right care and get educated on this process so you guys can have a very good life together, because that's ultimately our goal, is for our patients and their families to experience a higher quality of life. So I hope to see you there or at our next women's event. That'll be fun.